Welcome to day 214 at the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we would have watched the highest grossing film of March 2012, but we actually already watched it already because it was the first Hunger Games, and you already know our opinion of that. That said, we now watched Hunger Games Catching Fire.
So, I said right before we started watching this that I learned something about this as well as the other two sequels that's different from the first movie, and where at first I was like, oh, and then I went like, oh, after I learned it.
What was the thing?
What is this thing?
It was the director.
Oh,
Okay.
The director of, again, not the first one, but the other three is the same director as the person who directed I Am Legend.
oh,
Oh.
And that's why I was like, oh, this is going to give me false hope, isn't it?
and
And it kind of did. That's it. There were a few elements that I could see where, because remember how the first one, like, the editing and, like, the music was kind of weird?
especially
Yeah.
with like flashbacks
Yeah,
and
so that's, like,
Oh my
not,
God.
that's not here at all. So that's,
stuff. No.
I said, like, I remember when we first watched that, like, I kind of liked it, but, like, I do admit that seeing it like this now, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's probably better without it. So that's something, and I guess there were a few, like, quieter moments just kind of waiting for things to happen. So I guess that's a little bit like it, but yeah, it really doesn't. So,
Like, besides that one dance scene where we all kind of felt motion sick, I think generally
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the filming
Yeah.
and the cinematography was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could actually see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're not having epilepsy from all of the jump cuts.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about the things that are better. So, yeah, that's a bit better.
I like some of the characters I know there's other characters that are introduced in here too
Oh yeah,
that
like,
were in the games.
Crazy Axe Lady, I like her.
Yeah, well, because she's, like, so weird that, like, she's actually, not boring.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's
I
something.
liked her. I liked Finnick too
He was
because
weird. Like, again, weird because, like, when you first meet him, he's, like, a creeper.
yeah.
But then it's, like, it is kind of weird that he went from that to being, like, a kind of reasonable person. So that's a little odd, but, like, when he is a reasonable person, you're like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the best character in the movie, which is the old
Yes.
woman who
Yep.
dies way too soon.
We were like, would it be great if she actually won by just killing everyone in their sleep?
Yeah.
But yeah, we lost
Yeah.
the old lady,
Yeah, so
unfortunately.
there's that. And then, so, one of the problems we had with the previous one was that there was, like, there was all these other characters from the districts, and we, like, didn't really know anything about them, right? Where here, pretty much only people we knew were Katniss, Peeta, and was it Rue? I forgot her, the
Yeah,
girl from
Rue.
11. And, like, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And so this, it was like, okay, it was a little bit more balanced, and the characters who we didn't know, it's like they didn't even try to tell us about them, right?
Yeah.
So then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, fine, they're completely irrelevant, okay, that's totally fine, right? So that
Yeah.
was balanced a little bit better. Let's see, there was something else I was going to say that was a little bit better. Okay.
I'm
Oh.
trying to think if there's.
Katniss is like 0.01% better. That
You
point.
mean the fact that she's not like a complete? She's not evidently a Mary Sue in this one.
Well, no. It was more the fact that, like, she actually does have some emotions.
That is true.
Oh.
Even if the emotions are kind of not necessarily, like, great, they're at least something.
That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Emotion-wise, we'll give her that much. Otherwise, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so...
About something else about her that seemed to have waned.
So, besides that,
What else?
Peeta's pretty smart still, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Peter's basically the brains and keeping them alive.
This one felt a little bit better paced.
It was, I think.
Pacing was better.
Because the last one felt like a bit long. And this
The
one...
last one was a snooze fest. This one, like, it had boring parts, but it was overall okay.
Yeah, and I think this one is actually like longer, but it didn't feel as long.
Yeah, it didn't feel
I
as long.
said that this one felt like was about equal to the other one, so it surprises.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one was like pretty close to 2 hours, and this is like 2 hours 20 minutes. So
The first director really fucked up the pacing and the cuts. And
yeah, but
good thing they were fired.
is there any? I think okay. See, the thing, okay. The
Are
stuff
you
that's-
deciding where to start?
Yeah, I just okay.
There are a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe tackle. Okay, you
I see that there was an idea they were trying to go for here. And the idea being that Katniss and Peeta have to, you know, play to the crowd in terms of like their relationship, right? And make it more, you know, more than it is. That's a good idea. And for elements, they do it well. Like, for example, when Peeta's like, oh, there's the baby or whatever. Like, that was a smart idea, right? That was a good
that was
idea.
a really smart idea.
So
Yeah.
there's a few moments that's there, but again, the problem is that they still try to make it where, like, you know, they do like each other,
Yeah.
but they're like kind of pretending they don't. But then it's like a triple layer where like they're pretending they do while pretending they don't while they actually do.
yeah.
And it's like,
And then
just have
you
them
throw-
not or do. And then so the problem is that like, and then Gale's in the mix there.
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
that's
You
the
have a
thing.
love triangle.
Here's the thing. Here's the two things that they could have done. Either have just no Gale and they actually are together and that is a thing, but they are playing it up for the crowd, or have it where they are only playing it up for the crowd and not in a relationship and she's with Gale.
yeah.
Either of those works, but they try to combine it together and that fucks it up and messes, you know.
It makes it very annoying because they're just like, oh, okay, is this a moment or is this just
Them pretending.
yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, how am I supposed to feel in this situation? Because we saw you smooching Gale in the beginning of the film, but now you're smooching Peeta, and this
Yeah.
is not homogenous.
Yeah,
This
and
makes no goddamn sense.
yeah, and then okay, so that's a pretty big issue. And then honestly, just in general, like we probably felt this way, or I'm not sure if we said it explicitly, but like the dialogue in this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling and emotion.
Yeah.
Even
I'm feeling an
if it was
emotion.
a tiny bit of an upgrade in terms of Katniss and everything. Like, there's that one scene where she's talking to her sister while they're getting. What were they getting out of the ground?
Snow, I think.
Oh yeah, because Gale got whipped.
Right. And it's like. It's supposed to be like a really touching and emotional scene, but we're just staring at it like.
This is so flat. Yeah, so there's that. But then honestly, the biggest problem, and this is definitely for like the first half of the movie, is again, they fuck up the world.
Yeah.
This is
And-
the worst fucking fascist dictator I've ever seen.
This would not last 75.
No,
plus
it's
years.
No.
he's doing the worst things he could do, and then he's like, "Why is there things happening?" I'm like, "Cause you're a fucking moron." He's literally like, I don't know I guess what the fuck's the word?
Subvert.
Deifying her. He's
yeah.
literally doing that. He's not. It's not like by not. He's not. You know, failing to prevent it from happening. No, he's actively doing it.
Yeah.
Like parading her around in the tour at the beginning was stupid, and then of course
I don't understand how that was supposed to like unify all the districts. It's like, hi, I killed all your like the two people that came to like the Hunger Games and everything, and I'm gonna smile now and give you an inspirational speech.
yeah, and it's like and again, and here's the thing: the very beginning of the movie, he basically meets with her and is like, what you did wasn't cool. You start a rebellion, so now you better not incite any more rebellions. And she like basically keeps doing that because he is putting her in situations where she would do that. Because here's the thing: if he was legitimately like, because if they took out that beginning scene where he meets with her, and if again they had it where like again they weren't implying that everything was totally secure and there was no uprisings for 75 years. If they said maybe it was like 5 or 10 or something. And maybe hinted at there was some actual, at least maybe not uprisings, but kind of little tiffs popping up here and there. And again, he made it where he was like, where that character basically was like, oh, Katniss, whatever, she doesn't matter, and just kind of blew her off. It would feel much more realistic. But here it's like, he called her out for what was happening, and then basically made her keep doing the thing. And it's like, hello? Like, are you an idiot?
And then I don't understand how, like, getting all the victors who were still alive was supposed to not make any more rebellions.
No, exactly.
Either?
Like, that's a completely terrible. Okay, here's the one thing though that I'm kind of maybe not sure about, because again, the guy played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, he apparently is part of the rebellion or something, and he was like meeting with the guy, the president guy. So I don't know if maybe it was implying that was his idea. In which case, like, that would have been on... Maybe it could... So I could see it as it was, like, on purpose a bad idea by that guy. Okay. By Philip Seymour Hoffman. So I guess that could work. But again, I'm not sure if that's what they were trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if that's true, then okay, fine. If not, the president's a fucking moron. So...
Is it really a president?
Well, that's the title for him, whatever. So...
Like, if he was to realistically run this entire, like, country, or whatever they call it, it wouldn't last 6 months.
Yeah, so...
That, too. There's that one part at the very end where they said they got rid of District 12, and it's like, okay. Like, when you hear it at first glance and everything, it's like, oh, okay, that's a really horrible thing that he did and stuff. But then you think about it, and it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, because all the districts are, like, split up and everything for their resources, right? So,
by mining!
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, well, now you just got rid of everyone that mined, and mining is, like, one of the big... How are you going to get all those materials now?
Yeah, see, that's another problem, is where not only that, but then, okay, so there was some video I saw about, like, how this is, supposed to be, like, the United States in terms of, geography and, like, where the districts are supposed to be, or whatever. And, like, the districts are not small, so it's, like, it's literally about how the districts are the size, again, there's, like, 12 in what's basically the continental United States, okay? So that means that pretty much every district is at least takes up the space of, like, a couple actual states. Yeah. So I'm like, did you literally... And apparently, like, 12 is, like, Appalachia, like, Ohio, West Virginia, like, Virginia, like, that area, right?
That's a lot of people.
So, even I'm like, so wait, you literally firebombed, like, 4 states?
Wait, going even further with that... If it's all those states and stuff too, why do they only show that they only take from one single town?
Yeah, well, exactly. Right, that's the thing. The presentation is like, oh, this is District 12, it's this one community, and I'm like, but it's not, though?
It's gigantic!
Yeah, so I'm like, this doesn't work. Because, like, again, how it's presented, it's like, oh, here's, like, District 12 with, like, fucking the population...
Like
yeah, it's like population 300, and it's like... Wait.
Plus, even if there were other towns and stuff, and this is the only town they get people from, wouldn't anybody with kids just leave? Yeah. Like, once they hit age 13, it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna move away, honey. We're only gonna move back when you're 19 years old.
And just live in a cabin somewhere, and they can hunt, because it's Appalachia. There are tons of things that you can hunt or gather. You can build a log cabin. You can build a log house somewhere that's off the grid. Isn't that something that you could do?
or even go to other towns and stuff, but they never portray other towns or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, this is District 12, this is District 8. And it's like, well, it can't be just this one settlement.
Wait, when you mentioned that, let's say that this village is like the capital or something of District 12, and there are theoretically other towns in the district.
Mm-hmm.
They only took names from that village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your kids and move to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would they stay there if that's the only town that they get names from and stuff?
Yeah, I don't...
This world is falling apart.
It really needs to be explained better. It's not holding up. And, again, the actual, like, policy decisions here are just fucking stupid.
Wait, okay, so then, like, that raid with, like, the Peacemaker people?
Yeah.
The head Peacemaker, we never see him again in this movie.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see him again later, or was he just there to, like, beat up Gale and that's it?
Yeah, well, see, that's another thing. So, okay, let's crack down on the place. So it's like, okay, first of all, you are gonna crack down on literally the hometown of this Messiah figure, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, automatically looks bad, but then on top of that, you think that the Messiah figure being, all of her Messiah glory isn't gonna, like, step in and, like, do something inspirational for everyone else? Like, come on, it's a fucking stupid idea. And, look, are we saying that every character has to always make 100% logical decisions? No, but if for someone who's supposed to be in a really powerful position of authority that, based on his age, he seems to have had for a long period of time, he has to at least show competence to earn that position. And if we can, come up with better fascist ideas than he can, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the guy that took over District 12 or whatever didn't recognize Katniss. Like, how does that make sense?
Like, he should know who the last person who's been parading around the districts being like, hi, let's, like, join hands and sing Kumbaya all day long while I dance on your children's graves. Shouldn't he know who she is? At least who she is. She just won.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess another thing, too, is that if with the rebellions and everything, anybody who, like, raised their hand and did the signal thing or whatever, like, even the guy who whistled, they were, like, immediately, like, killed and punished, right? But then, when, like, Katniss's sister and mom did it, and Gale, like, they just got pushed back.
Yeah.
Angrily.
We're not gonna execute, like, the people who are closest to the most dangerous Jesus figure of the entire group.
Yeah, well, that's the thing again, like, the ending, where they're like, Gale's like, oh, I saved, our families, and it's like, and then he's like, oh, and all of District 12 is gone. It's like, okay, so literally just all the characters that actually have names are saved. It's just like, okay.
Fuck Peeta's family!
Yeah.
It's because we know, because Peeta mentioned the fact that he has family members and everything, too, when Katniss didn't tell him about the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Stuff on the tour.
We'll get to that.
Like, what about my family? And it's like, well, Peeta, apparently, I hate to break it to you, man, but,
Fuck
Gale
your family.
doesn't save your family.
Fuck your family. I don't want in-laws. Even if they're fake in-laws.
So, yeah, it's like, the problems were even more pronounced in this one than the last one.
It's because you see how the government is supposed to work, and it doesn't, because this guy is operating on playground rules. He's trying to be, like, the bully of the playground, but his playground is as big as the continental United States.
Well, again, it's not just that, but he's specifically creating situations where Katniss looks good.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, you are. And so, at least with the last one, you're like, okay, they have a system, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it seems like there's ways around it, but it didn't seem like, if you accepted that,
Yeah.
there wasn't, like, actively creating problems.
This is a case where the less you see, the better.
Right.
If they just focused on the games, if they maybe developed, like, Joanna and Finnick and the middle-aged black guy who I don't remember the name of, like the important characters that are on the team, fine. That would have been actually probably better than having us like detour all around Panem for no reason and like having the government fall apart.
Yeah, or like again, because like it kept cutting a couple times to the president guy, usually talking to like Philip Seymour Hoffman or someone else, and where he's talking about like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it because of this. They should have just not done that, because then it would have been, in a sense, even if they kept a lot of the other events the same, it would then be like, you would be like, wait, why is the government doing this?
Yeah,
where it's like,
it would kind of be like, okay, maybe they have a plan or something.
Right,
but
then it's
this
like,
was their plan.
Right, you're legitimately not sure, and maybe it's like that you think, oh, maybe they don't know how to deal with this or whatever. But here it's like, they're like, oh, I totally know how to deal with this, fucks it up immediately, and it's like, don't just spoil that, like what I said, just leave it up to imagination, because then it's a bit weirder, where it's like, you don't know what's going on, and even if it's like, wait, they did something stupid, you're like, but did they mean to do that? It's like, it's more of a thing to it.
You also wouldn't know that it's the president saying that. You could just say, oh, it's just the committee that organizes the games is kind of fucking up, and it's not actually, like, the big bad who's so feared by all of these books everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I don't know. Again, there are some smaller things that are better, but in terms of, like, a whole, like, big picture, there's more cracks, too.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, like, comparing what's better, I think I like this one a little bit more. Like, it's
in terms of the other characters and stuff.
Just because, again, especially, like, if you take, like, the last half, this is, like, okay. Right? Because then again, the political problems are not as apparent in the last half either. So...
And then, like, all the new characters kind of balances out, like, Katniss being such a... We'll talk about Katniss soon.
So, if you had to make me pick, I would pick this one. But honestly, they're very, very close. I think the first one was a bit, like... Everything is just kind of where this one there are some things that are a little bit better and some things that are a little bit worse, so it's a bit more split, but I think if you made me pick, I would choose this one, but it's very close, and I could definitely see if you went the other way around.
That said, you can open the floor.
So let's go back to the whole thing where Peeta was like, what about my family? So oh my god. So we talk about how Snow, like, came and threatened her and was like, if you don't play up your love affair, then I'll kill your family and whatnot. And Katniss does not tell Peeta anything until they get shipped off to the new, like, martyr-making Hunger Games, basically. She doesn't tell him anything. No plan, nothing. So she acts like a complete moron for 80% of her screen time, in general, if she's not just kind of waxing sentimental or screaming because of her horrible PTSD.
I guess, well, the one thing is that she did tell him, well, she was forced to tell him after they went to District 11? District 11, where Rue is from.
I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, that was 11.
Was actually from the very beginning and stuff. So.
Okay, that was when, okay.
Yeah, that was 11.
I was, like, not sure if it was there or on the train. I was probably mixing up a bunch of
Sure,
things.
no, it was on the train, but it was right after they came after.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, he did find out at that point, but evidently she should have told him before and everything. And that was their first stop. But then it kind of continues what we were saying before, where it's like, she's like, oh, I like Gale, but then, no, I don't like Peeta, but then I do like Peeta, but then I don't like Peeta, and it's like that. But then there's also her PTSD, which, it's like, okay, PTSD is a very serious thing and whatnot, but it seems to only conveniently quote unquote come up for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like
During
to
certain
like during
situations.
during certain situations where she. I guess the thing is that it comes up in situations where she can immediately have it stop because someone is there
Yeah.
with her. Like the first time it was like Gail was there.
Then
And then-
again, when the thing was is that when she was screaming when she woke up and everything, it's like, okay, that's probably one of the more realistic moments with that, because it's like, okay, she had a nightmare about the thing and stuff. But then I think back to what happened in the first Hunger Games, and I'm like, is she having... The only thing that I can imagine she's having nightmares about is about Rue and everything.
Yeah.
But she never mentions that. She just mentions the Hunger Games. So,
Yeah.
There's maybe one or two like allusions to Rue, like the billboard. I don't know if it's a billboard. It's like some holographic thing, and then I think there was like a painting on the ground or something that was of Rue.
Oh yeah, when she was like
Yeah.
supposed to show off her skill. Wait, what was that scene? Because she like
yeah,
what was
I don't
the skill?
understand
And
how
she
that
like
was supposed to work.
hung like a mannequin. Like, okay, like is that like supposed to be like symbolic for like revolutionary imagery? Like that's literally the only possible thing I can think of, or what that's supposed to be, and that's kind of a weird thing to do.
I think there was something written on the dummy's chest. I think it was supposed to be a name or something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I
because,
didn't get that at all.
No.
For all I know, it could have been like the person who killed Rue, but we didn't know her name.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
basically, the movie was trying to make you feel bad for a character where if you do like her, you probably do feel bad for her, but if you just don't buy it, then it's very annoying to sit through.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is, again, since the first movie did such a poor job with her character just being so dull that, like, it just doesn't... It's like, it bleeds into this movie, too.
Yeah.
So...
And the thing is that when she does, like, allow for her emotions to come out and everything, it's usually screaming and yelling at people.
Yeah.
And it's... The thing is, too, is that would be fine on its own, but it's during situations where you're like, no, you're wrong, kind of thing, too.
Yeah.
Or you're, like, over-exaggerating stuff, and it's like, these are not the situations you should be showing your emotions for.
Yeah. So...
So we go on.
Yeah. Hey.
I just hope to see more of Joanna and Finnick, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Let's make them the main characters.
I don't know what to say anymore. Again, I guess it could definitely be worse, but it could
be worse.
better. So
The one thing we can't blame the movie for is the world building, but...
No.
yeah, I don't know
That's-
how that's supposed to work.
Source material. And I guess, like, the actors, they work with what they have, so I apologize for whatever they had. So yeah.
So I guess that's that. Anything else to say about this?
We continue to the next month.
Yep, which is familiar territory. Yay! I will say, at least after this next one, we have two very good things on the horizon.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Thank God.
Soon.
Soon.
I miss Harry Potter.
I do too. I miss Harry
And Lord
Potter.
of the Rings.
It
yeah.
feels so long ago.
It has been a long time.
I know.
It's been like 9 years.
Yeah. Ugh.
Uh,
Actually, when was the When was the time that we saw like Return of the King?
I don't remember.
Let me see. April. Oh, okay. So that's been
More than 6 months ago.
more than 7.
Oh dear.
So we saw Lord of the Rings, the last one, more than 7 months ago.
That's
Wow.
so sad.
Yeah. And now we're here. Well, I guess I'll see you next time.
Bye.
I.
No funny, no ridiculous losing our mind like last time.
Oh.
Oh well,
Not yet.
not
Not
yet.
yet.